Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live. India is the voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj, and coming up in the next 30 minutes. And before that, it's a proud moment. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, who is aboard the International Space Station. On your screens, you're watching this tweet on X by PMO India, that Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Honorable Prime Minister of India, interacted with Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, who's aboard the International Space Station. It was a proud moment for the entire country. And as Shubhanshu Shukla, Group Captain, made history as the SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft successfully docked with the International Space Station, also known as the ISS, at 4:01 p.m. IST over the North Atlantic. With this, Shubhanshu Shukla became the first Indian to board the ISS and the second Indian to travel to space 41 years after Rakesh Sharma's landmark mission in 1984. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, who made history and made the entire India proud. As the hatch opened, Shukla and his three fellow astronauts were warmly welcomed by the ISS crew with hugs, laughter, and traditional space drink. Shubhanshu Shukla will be performing different experiments over the course of few days till the time he's there, and he made the entire country proud. This is the breaking news that we are getting for you viewers, that Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, who is aboard the International Space Station. More details are awaited as to what the Honorable Prime Minister has talked to Shubhanshu Shukla. But one thing here is for sure, that Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla has made not just the entire country proud, but the entire world proud, carrying the tricolor on his shoulders. All right, let's go towards the headline now. And Pakistani Taliban suicide bomber hits military convoy in North Waziristan, kills 16 soldiers, injures civilians, including children. Thousands rally in Bangkok demanding PM Petongtang Chinawat's resignation over leaked call. Iran conducts funeral for commanders and scientists killed in clashes with Israel. US President Trump issues warning to Tehran over renewed uranium enrichment. A suicide attack carried out by the Pakistani Taliban claimed the lives of 16 soldiers and injured over 24 people, including civilians, in North Waziristan district of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. In fact, a suicide bomber rammed an explosive-laden vehicle into a military convoy, causing a devastating explosion. The blast not only targeted security forces but also damaged nearby houses, injuring 6 children. This is the breaking news that we are getting for you. The death toll rose from an initial 13 to 16 soldiers as authorities confirmed the casualties. The attack was claimed by the suicide bomber wing of the Hafiz Gul Bahadur faction, a group affiliated with the Pakistani Taliban. Violence in Pakistan's border regions has surged since the Taliban's return to power in neighboring Afghanistan in 2021. Islamabad has repeatedly accused Kabul of allowing militants to operate from Afghan soil, a claim denied by Taliban. According to reports, nearly 290 security personnel have been killed in similar attacks across Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan provinces since the start of the year. The recent attack underscores the ongoing security challenges Pakistan faces in its volatile border regions. All right, and DD India's Jessica Taneja joins us from Newsroom. Hi, Jessica. What is the latest that you are picking up on this?
Well, as you pointed out, the region has been a point of simmering tensions between India and Afghanistan, Pakistan and Afghanistan for a very long time, in a sense where Pakistan has raised the issue with the Taliban regime in Afghanistan about the attacks that they've seen, the recent spate of attacks, and both countries have in fact sparred over this issue as well. And as you pointed out, since 2021, there have been more than 290 security personnel from Pakistan who have been killed by these armed groups, both in Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and has been a very serious concern for the Pakistan officials. You'd recall, Siddharth, just last year in April as well, we saw simmering tensions where the region with more spate of attacks was South Waziristan. This time it's North Waziristan. And what we're also given to understand from some reports that the region at the time was completely under curfew, and this kind of attack, of course, was not anticipated by the military convoy that was crossing that particular route. So there are a lot of reports still to be attributed, despite the TTP, which is the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, the Talibani faction of Pakistan, which is claiming these attacks. And they have been raising concerns every now and then because the security forces have clashed with their neighbor on the western front, which includes both Khyber Pakhtunkhwa as well as the Waziristan region, which is now under current tension. So one will only hope and see whether this doesn't escalate to the level that it did, because the last time, remember, the Pakistani military officials had put out a report saying that they had targeted few terror camps that they suspect to be on those borders. But the tensions continue, and the Taliban, currently the regime in Afghanistan, has also raised concerns about the fact that a lot of innocent civilians are also being targeted by the Pakistan army instead of targeting the terrorist camps as they claim. So there are counter claims coming from both ends, but Pakistan seems to be in a troubled spot when it comes to these constant threats and attacks on both the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region as well as the Waziristan region. And what we're witnessing right now is certainly both the nations are going to discuss very soon. We'll have to wait and see on how this pans out.
Indeed, 16 soldiers died and over 24 people injured after a suicide attack carried out by the Pakistani Taliban. This is a developing situation, Jessica. We'll keep taking updates from you, but we leave it there as of now. And in Thailand, hundreds of protesters in Bangkok demanded the resignation of Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra on Saturday amid rising tensions over a border dispute with Cambodia. The largest anti-government rally since her party took power in 2023 increases pressure on her fragile coalition ahead of a possible no-confidence vote. The protest was organized by nationalist activists who have opposed Shinawatra-backed governments before. However, Paetongtarn dismissed concerns about the protests and pledged peaceful management. The crisis escalated after Phum Jaitai party withdrew support following a leaked phone call where Paetongtarn appeared to criticize a Thai army commander. US President Donald Trump sharply criticized Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei, saying that he would consider bombing Iran again if Tehran is enriching uranium to worrisome levels, and also dropped plans to lift sanctions on Iran.
And I'm putting out a little statement. I'm going to respond to the Ayatollah's statement yesterday that we won the war. Oh, God, we won the war. And I said, look, you're a man of great faith, a man who's highly respected in his country. You have to tell the truth. You got beat to hell. And Israel was beat up too. They were both beat up.
Trump reacted sternly to Khamenei's first remarks after a 12-day conflict with Israel that ended when the United States launched bombing raids last weekend against Iranian nuclear sites. Trump said at a White House news conference that he did not rule out attacking Iran again when asked about the possibility of new bombing of Iranian nuclear sites if deemed necessary at some point. US President Donald Trump also said that Iran wants to return to negotiations on its nuclear program a week after its main uranium enrichment facility and other sites were hit with devastating US airstrikes.
Iran wants to meet. As you know, their sites were obliterated. They're very evil nuclear sites. Now has been proven. We had some fake news for a little while.
Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi condemned the disrespectful and unacceptable comments from Donald Trump after the US president claimed to have saved Iran's Ayatollah Ali Khamenei from an ugly and ignominious death. The foreign minister's condemnation on Saturday came after Trump said on his Truth Social platform that he had saved the Iranian leader from assassination, accusing Khamenei of ingratitude. The Republican-led US Senate rejected a Democratic-led bid on Friday to block President Donald Trump from using further military force against Iran, hours after the president said he would consider more bombing. The Senate vote was 53 to 47 against a war powers resolution that would have required congressional approval for more hostilities against Iran. Under US law, Senate war powers resolutions are privileged, meaning that the chamber had to promptly consider and vote on the measure which Senator Tim Kaine introduced this month. US President Donald Trump voiced optimism about a new ceasefire in Gaza as criticism grew over mounting civilian deaths at Israeli-backed food distribution centers in the territory.
Often asked, and I think it's close. I just spoke with some of the people involved. It's a terrible situation that's going Gaza, he's asking about. And we think within the next week we're going to get a ceasefire. And we're supplying, as you know, a lot of money and a lot of food to that area because we have to, I mean, you have to. We're, in theory, not involved in it, but we're involved because people are dying.
The United States brokered a ceasefire in the devastating conflict in the waning days of former President Joe Biden's administration with support from Trump's incoming team. Israel broke the ceasefire in March, launching new devastating attacks on Hamas, which attacked Israel on October 7, 2023. And of course, thousands of Iranians gathered in Tehran on Saturday for a funeral procession for military commanders and nuclear scientists, which were killed in Israeli strikes during the conflict between Iran and Israel this month. The coffins of the deceased were transported on trucks and driven through crowded streets as mourners walked up and paid respects. Israel dealt heavy blows to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps command during its military campaign that began on June 13. US President Donald Trump said on Friday that he expects to get the conflict solved with North Korea. Speaking from the Oval Office, he described his relationship with Kim Jong-un as really great and expressed confidence that any potential conflict would be resolved without involving the United States.
Well, if there is a conflict, I get along with him very, very well, and we'll get the conflict solved with North Korea. I've had a good relationship with Kim Jong-un. And I've gotten along with him really great, so we'll see what happens. But somebody's saying there's a potential conflict. I think we'll work it out if there is. It wouldn't involve us. But again, we're very far away from a lot of these places that we're solving problems with.
South Korea's former President Yoon Suk-yeol appeared at the country's prosecutor's office for a summons by a special prosecutor over the ousted leader's failed bid to impose martial law in December. Yoon, through his lawyers, has protested the special prosecutor's demands to appear for questioning under media attention as a violation of his rights and a tactic to publicly humiliate him. The martial law attempt in December shocked a country that had prided itself on becoming a thriving democracy, having overcome military dictatorship in the 1980s. Yoon was later ousted in April by the Constitutional Court that upheld his impeachment by Parliament. Yoon is already on trial for leading the December 3 martial law declaration. He had been arrested in January after resisting authorities armed with a court warrant trying to take him into custody, but was released after 52 days on legal technicalities. Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo have signed a US-brokered peace agreement. Rwanda has agreed to withdraw its troops from eastern Congo. This report has the details.
Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo signed a US-brokered peace agreement on Friday, raising hopes for an end to fighting that has killed thousands and displaced hundreds of thousands. The deal was signed by the foreign ministers of the two neighboring nations in Washington, D.C., in the presence of U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
With the continued support of the United States and other partners, we believe that a turning point has been reached. Rwanda stands ready to work with the DRC to deliver on our joint commitments.
These are not just words on paper. They must now be translated into action with justice, accountability, and political will. This peace agreement is the starting point, not the end goal.
US President Donald Trump hailed the agreement, which aims to attract billions of dollars of Western investment to eastern Congo, which is rich in minerals like copper, lithium, and gold.
And this is a long time waiting, the signing of a historic peace agreement between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of Rwanda.
Global leaders also welcomed the deal, with French President Emmanuel Macron saying that it was a historic step forward after decades of suffering, while UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres called it a significant step towards de-escalation. As per the deal, the two sides have pledged to implement a 2024 agreement that would see Rwandan troops withdraw from eastern Congo within 90 days. The two countries will also launch a regional economic integration framework within the same time frame. Rwanda has sent at least 7,000 soldiers to DR Congo. According to DR Congo and UN, the troops have been sent to support M23 rebels who seized eastern Congo's two largest cities and lucrative mining areas in a lightning advance earlier this year. Rwanda has denied helping M23, saying its forces are acting in self-defense against Congo's army and Hutu militiamen linked to the 1994 Rwandan genocide. Rwanda and DR Congo are also holding separate talks in Doha. Bureau Report, DD India.
Brazil is set to host the BRICS summit on the 6th and 7th of July in Rio de Janeiro. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will attend the summit and will also hold bilateral summit with Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva as state guest. In this context, our correspondent Akhilesh Suman spoke exclusively to Kenneth Nobrega, the ambassador of Brazil to India, on the evolving role of BRICS in today's global scenario and the growing trajectory of India-Brazil relations. Let's listen.
I have Ambassador of Brazil to India, Kenneth Nobrega, with me. Excellency, BRICS summit is going to be held in your country. What do you think? What are the priorities of BRICS as you are the host?
We have 6 priorities. The first is reform of global governance, which is a founding platform of BRICS, as you know. The second is climate change financing. The third is global regulation of artificial intelligence. The fourth is global health, achieving a growing partnership in terms of global health. The fifth is economic and financial integration among BRICS countries. And the last one is what we call BRICS institutional reform.
Russia is in war with Ukraine for the last 3 years. The newest member, Iran, has been in war with Israel recently, and there is ceasefire. So Americans are trying, but don't you think that BRICS, being a mammoth organization of 10 countries, can try and mediate a situation of stopping the war?
We are looking for ways of bringing the parts together through dialogue, not through threats. That's the main point. We think that it's better to have an incremental progress than a hasty progress, right, basically. Right.
Recently, there was an attack on India by terrorists in Pahalgam. Do you think that BRICS should take a united stand against terrorism?
Yes, I think it should clearly condemn and point out that states should maintain good practices, so to speak, when it comes to looking after the terrorist threat in its territories.
Donald Trump became the president of United States. It is like a trade war, perpetrated by United States to all the countries. So do you think that in this BRICS summit, the member countries are going to take some stand so that this doesn't become a trade war?
This kind of stability is what business needs to thrive and countries need to develop. So I think BRICS will make, a clear statement for multilateralism, abiding by the rules, rejecting unilateralism.
How do you project the relationship between India and Brazil in coming years?
Well, let me say that after BRICS summit, Honorable Prime Minister Modi will make a state visit, a full-fledged state visit to Brazil. I think this will a visit where we will see how much the partnership has evolved in the last years.
Do you think that we are going to sign some agreements, some MOUs in this visit?
We are envisaging results in this field in energy, fight against terrorism, intellectual property, health, cooperation in the field of agriculture, among other.
Brazil, the world's largest producer of sugar, hosted a high-level Indian delegation. The delegation from the National Federation of Cooperative Sugar Factories Limited visited Brazil to study the country's sugar industry practices, including ethanol production and sugar dry cleaning processes. During their 5-day tour, the Indian delegation met top sugar industry executives, visited factories, witnessed the sugar dry cleaning process and interacted with researchers at ethanol production centers. They aim to implement these practices in India's sugar industry.
In our delegation, we have people from Vasantdada Sugar Institutes, people from private industries also, plus cooperative industries. So this is a very big delegation, and the embassy of Brazil and India, both have them tied this program very well. So regarding the future challenges and the future prospects about the sugar industry, I think so this was the purpose of our visit.
Every year, these Brazil people or the CTC, they are coming up with at least 2 to 3 different varieties of sugarcane. And so that is really the great work which they are doing in the CTC. We can also learn from these experiments which they are having.
We see the farmers are very rich. I mean, we came across some farmers who have their own aircrafts. They leave their home, come to the office in their own aircraft and go back. And this is something which Indian farmer can look forward to. But for the Indian sugar industry is in the total sugar government control industry. And here it is market driven. So decision process becomes faster, and perhaps a day is not far off when India also need to take this route of liberalizing the sugar sector from the clutches of the government controls, and let the industry run on its own and grow. That's some takeaway that we are taking from.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today paid tribute to former Prime Minister Shri PV Narasimha Rao on the occasion of his birth anniversary, recalling his pivotal role in shaping India's development path during a crucial phase of the nation's economic and political transformation. PM Modi, in a post on X, wrote, and I quote, "Remembering PV Narasimha Rao Garu on his birth anniversary, India is grateful to him for his effective leadership during a crucial phase of our development trajectory. His intellect, wisdom and scholarly nature are also widely admired." Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the centenary celebrations of Acharya Vidyanand Ji Maharaj in New Delhi on Saturday. The program marked the commencement of a year-long national tribute being organized by Government of India in collaboration with Bhagwan Mahavir Ahimsa Bharati Trust to honor the 100th birth anniversary of Acharya Vidyanand Ji Maharaj. Acharya Vidyanand Ji Maharaj was a revered Jain spiritual leader and social reformer. The year-long celebration will include cultural, literary, educational and spiritual initiatives across the country aimed at celebrating his life and legacy and spreading his message. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also released postage commemorative stamps and coins on the occasion of the 100th birth anniversary of Acharya Vidyanand Ji Maharaj during his centenary celebrations. Addressing the gathering, PM said India's spirit of service is unconditional, beyond self-interest and inspired by selflessness, emphasizing that this principle guides the nation's governance today.
सेवा प्रधान देश है, भारत मानवता प्रधान देश है। दुनिया में जब हजारों वर्षों तक हिंसा को हिंसा से शांत करने के प्रयास हो रहे थे, तब भारत ने दुनिया को अहिंसा की शक्ति का बोध कराया। हमारा सेवा भाव अनकंडीशनल है, स्वार्थ से परे है और परमार्थ से प्रेरित है।
Indian Minister L. Murugan inaugurated the 10th conference of Akhila Kerala Dhivara Sabha in Kerala's Ernakulam city on Saturday. Speaking on the occasion, Minister Murugan said that the central government led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi is always ready to study the problems of the fishermen community and bring a permanent solution. The minister also said that the contribution of fishermen to the country's economy is huge. Akhila Kerala Dhivara Sabha is a caste association representing the Dhivara community, a Hindu fishing community in Kerala. India's economy remains on strong footing despite global risks, according to monthly economic review for May 2025, which was released by India's Finance Ministry. The high-frequency indicators for the first 2 months of FY26 indicate resilient performance of the domestic economy amid the heightened geopolitical situation. E-way bill generation continues to climb, reaching a second all-time high level in May 2025 to 122.7 million. On a YOY basis, it continues to expand in double digits. Construction activity, proxied by steel consumption and cement production, witnessed moderation in momentum. Steel consumption grew by 7% during April-May 2025, while cement production rose by 6.7% during April 2025, remaining lower than the last quarter of FY25. Services activity remained healthy in May 2025, with services PMI at 58.8 compared to 58.7 in April 2025. Retail inflation measured by Consumer Price Index experienced a sustained decline in May 2025, reaching 2.8%, marking the 7th consecutive month of falling retail inflation. Liquidity conditions in the Indian economy have improved as a result of RBI's measures to enhance liquidity. The banking system experienced an average liquidity deficit of 1.2 lakh crore from February to April 2025. India's social protection initiatives are being praised world over. Union Minister Mansukh Mandaviya shared a video on social media site X in which Director General of the International Labour Organization, Gilbert Ungbo, appreciated India's transformative journey in building a robust and inclusive social security net.
India, for example, a regional forum on responsible business practices for inclusive and sustainable society brought forward very concretely and now 10 well-documented case studies on how we expand social justice through the business, the responsible business practices, in addition for moving the social protection coverage for barely 25% to 64%.
India's Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited is going to acquire a 51% controlling stake in Sri Lanka's Colombo dockyard for $52.96 million, buying shares from Japan's Onomichi dockyard, which is exiting the company. MDL will also invest fresh funds to help strengthen Colombo dockyard's finances, which have suffered losses in recent years. This acquisition marks MDL's expansion from a domestic shipbuilder to a regional maritime player, supporting India's maritime Amrit Kal Vision 2047 and boosting its regional influence. A 10-member delegation from Montana, comprising 7 high school students and 3 chairpersons from Montana World Affairs Council, is currently in India for a transformative cultural and educational exchange. Our next report brings you more.
Path to this experience began with the students' exceptional performance in Econo Quest 2025 at Montana State University and the Academic World Quest 2025, where the Consulate General of India in Seattle recognized their outstanding participation, leading to their selection for this delegation.
All of these students have really shown an interest already in India, and what we hope to do is just expand their minds, because there's nothing better for students, especially students right at that age when they're finishing their high school experience, getting ready to enter college.
India was strategically chosen as the conference's theme country, with the explicit aim of promoting its rich cultural heritage and also fostering strong academic and diplomatic ties between India and the United States.
I think India is one of the key players in a developing, global order, with with one of the largest populations, or the largest population among all nations. It's really important to establish good relations with in between the United States and India if we're going to continue to exist peacefully in this world and mutual benefit.
For these students, this visit is strategically important for understanding the Indian landscape and its significance in regional strategic affairs.
I'll be heading to Yale this fall, and I'm hoping to study global affairs. So this trip was definitely up my alley. I think I love getting to experience different cultures, getting to talk to people who have grown up so different from how I have, and I think especially in today's age where there is so much globalization and people are exchanging cultures in a way like never before.
A crucial focus was also on deepening the understanding of India for future collaborations in education, trade, as well as diplomacy between Montana and India.
As there aren't so many super strong alliances or super strong things or directions that India has to take their economy and their political stances and allies with that, and I think that's a really incredible position to be in, just kind of to see how the world turns out and be able to make their own decisions, honestly.
This delegation's visit underscores a forward-thinking approach to international relations, recognizing that fostering deeper ties begins with shared experience.
And indeed a proud moment, as we'll show you in a while from now. Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi's interaction with Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, who made history and made the entire country proud. Not just the country proud, but the entire world proud, carrying tricolour on the shoulders, becoming the first Indian to visit the International Space Station. He indeed made the entire world proud, like I said, becoming the first person who visited the International Space Station.
नमस्कार, आप आज मातृभूमि से, नमस्कार, भारत भूमि से सबसे दूर है, लेकिन भारतवासियों के दिलों के सबसे करीब है। आपके नाम में भी शुभ है और आपकी यात्रा नए युग का शुभ आरंभ भी है। इस समय बात हम दोनों कर रहे हैं, लेकिन मेरे साथ 140 करोड़ भारतवासियों की भावनाएं भी हैं। मेरी आवाज में सभी भारतीयों का उत्साह और उमंग शामिल है। अंतरिक्ष में भारत का परचम लहराने के लिए मैं आपको हार्दिक बधाई और शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। मैं ज्यादा समय नहीं ले रहा हूं, तो सबसे पहले तो ये बताइए, वहां सब कुशल मंगल है? आपकी तबीयत ठीक है?
जी प्रधानमंत्री जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपकी विशेष का और 140 करोड़ मेरे देशवासियों की विशेष का। मैं यहाँ बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ, सुरक्षित हूँ। आप सबके आशीर्वाद और प्यार की वजह से बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है। बहुत नया एक्सपीरियंस है ये, और कहीं ना कहीं बहुत सारी चीज़ें ऐसी हो रही हैं जो दर्शाती हैं कि मैं और मेरे जैसे बहुत सारे लोग हमारे देश में और हमारा भारत किस दिशा में जा रहा है। ये जो मेरी यात्रा है, ये पृथ्वी से ऑर्बिट की 400 किलोमीटर तक की जो छोटी सी यात्रा है, ये सिर्फ मेरी नहीं है। मुझे लगता है कहीं ना कहीं हमारे देश की भी यात्रा है। बिकॉज जब मैं छोटा था, मैं कभी सोच नहीं पाया कि मैं एस्ट्रोनॉट बन सकता हूँ, लेकिन मुझे लगता है आपके नेतृत्व में आज का भारत ये मौका देता है और उन सपनों को साकार करने का भी मौका देता है। तो ये बहुत बड़ी उपलब्धि है मेरे लिए, और मैं बहुत गर्व फील कर रहा हूँ कि मैं यहाँ पे अपने देश का प्रतिनिधित्व कर पा रहा हूँ। धन्यवाद प्रधानमंत्री जी।
शुभ। आप दूर अंतरिक्ष में है, जहां ग्रेविटी ना के बराबर है, पर हर भारतीय देख रहा है कि आप कितने डाउन टू अर्थ है। आप जो गाजर का हलवा ले गए हैं, क्या उससे अपने साथियों को खिलाया?
जी प्रधानमंत्री जी, ये कुछ चीज़ें मैं अपने देश की खाने की लेके आया था, जैसे गाजर का हलवा, मूंग दाल का हलवा और आमरस। और मैं चाहता था कि ये बाकी भी जो मेरे साथी हैं, बाकी देशों से जो आए हैं, वो भी इसका स्वाद लें और चखें, जो भारत का जो रिच कुलिनरी हमारा जो हेरिटेज है उसका एक्सपीरियंस लें। तो हम सभी ने बैठ के इसका स्वाद लिया साथ में, और सबको बहुत पसंद आया। कुछ लोग हैं कि कब वो नीचे आएंगे और हमारे देश आए और इनका स्वाद ले सके हमारे साथ।
शुभ। परिक्रमा करना भारत की सदियों पुरानी परंपरा है। आपको तो पृथ्वी माता की परिक्रमा का सौभाग्य मिला है। अभी आप पृथ्वी के किस भाग के ऊपर से गुजर रहे होंगे?
जी प्रधानमंत्री जी, इस समय तो मेरे पास ये इंफॉर्मेशन उपलब्ध नहीं है, लेकिन थोड़ी देर पहले मैं खिड़की से, विंडो से बाहर देख रहा था, तो हम लोग हवाई के ऊपर से गुजर रहे थे। और हम दिन में 16 बार परिक्रमा करते हैं, 16 सूर्योदय और 16 संन्यास, सनराइज और सनसेट हम देखते हैं ऑर्बिट से। और बहुत ही अचंभित कर देने वाला ये पूरा प्रोसेस है। इस परिक्रमा में, इस तेज गति में, हम इस समय करीब 28,000 किलोमीटर प्रति घंटे की रफ्तार से चल रहे हैं आपसे बात करते वक्त, और ये गति पता नहीं चलती क्योंकि हम तो अंदर हैं, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं ये गति जरूर दिखाती है कि हमारा देश कितनी गति से आगे बढ़ रहा है इस समय, कि हम यहाँ पहुंचे हैं और अब यहाँ से और आगे जाना है।
अच्छा शुभ, अंतरिक्ष की विशालता देखकर सबसे पहला विचार क्या आया आपको?
प्रधानमंत्री जी, सच में बोलो तो जब पहली बार हम लोग ऑर्बिट में पहुंचे, अंतरिक्ष में पहुंचे, तो पहला जो व्यू था वो पृथ्वी का था। और पृथ्वी को बाहर से देख के जो पहला ख्याल और पहला जो थॉट मन में आया वो ये था कि पृथ्वी बिल्कुल एक दिखती है। मतलब बाहर से कोई सीमा रेखा नहीं दिखाई देती, कोई बॉर्डर नहीं दिखाई देता। और दूसरी चीज जो बहुत नोटिसेबल थी, जब पहली बार भारत को देखा, तो हम मैप पे पढ़ते हैं भारत को, हम देखते हैं बाकी देशों का आकार कितना बड़ा है, हमारा आकार कैसा है, वो मैप पे देखते हैं, लेकिन वो सही नहीं होता, क्योंकि वो एक हम 3D ऑब्जेक्ट को 2D यानी पेपर पे हम उतारते हैं। भारत सच में बहुत भव्य दिखता है, बहुत बड़ा दिखता है, जितना हम मैप पे देखते हैं उससे कहीं ज्यादा बड़ा। और जो वननेस की फीलिंग है, पृथ्वी की वननेस की फीलिंग है, जो हमारा भी मोटो है कि अनेकता में एकता, वो बिल्कुल उसका महत्व ऐसा समझ में आता है बाहर से देखने में कि लगता है कि कोई बॉर्डर एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करता, कोई राज्य नहीं एग्जिस्ट करता, कंट्रीज नहीं एग्जिस्ट करती। फाइनली हम सब ह्यूमैनिटी का पार्ट है, और अर्थ हमारा एक घर है, और हम सब के सब उसके सिटीजन्स हैं।
शुभांशु, स्पेस स्टेशन पर जाने वाले आप पहले भारतीय हैं। आपने जबरदस्त मेहनत की है, लंबी ट्रेनिंग करके गए हैं। अब आप रियल सिचुएशन में हैं, सच में अंतरिक्ष में हैं। वहां की परिस्थितियां कितनी अलग हैं, कैसे एडप्ट कर रहे हैं?
यहाँ पे तो सब कुछ ही अलग है प्रधानमंत्री जी। ट्रेनिंग की हमने पिछले पूरे 1 साल में। सारे सिस्टम्स के बारे में मुझे पता था, सारे प्रोसेस के बारे में मुझे पता था, एक्सपेरिमेंट्स के बारे में मुझे पता था, लेकिन यहाँ आते ही सडनली सब चेंज हो गया। बिकॉज हमारे शरीर को ग्रेविटी में रहने की इतनी आदत हो जाती है कि हर एक चीज उससे डिसाइड होती है। पर यहाँ आने के बाद चूंकि ग्रेविटी माइक्रो ग्रेविटी है, एब्सेंट है, तो छोटी छोटी चीजें भी बहुत मुश्किल हो जाती हैं। अभी आपसे बात करते वक्त मैंने अपने पैरों को बांध रखा है, नहीं तो मैं ऊपर चला जाऊंगा। और माइक पे भी जैसे छोटी चीजें हैं, इसको छोड़ के दूं तो भी ये ऐसे फ्लोट करता रहता है। पानी पीना, पैदल चलना, सोना बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है। आप छत पे सो सकते हैं, आप दीवारों पे सो सकते हैं, आप जमीन पे सो सकते हैं। तो पता सब कुछ होता है प्रधानमंत्री जी। ट्रेनिंग अच्छी है, लेकिन वातावरण चेंज होता है तो थोड़ा सा यूज टू होने में 1-2 दिन लगते हैं, बट फिर ठीक हो जाता है।
भारत की ताकत साइंस और स्पिरिचुअलिटी दोनों है। आप अंतरिक्ष यात्रा पर हैं, लेकिन भारत की यात्रा भी चल रही होगी। भीतर में भारत दौड़ता होगा। क्या उस माहौल में मेडिटेशन और माइंडफुलनेस का लाभ भी मिलता है क्या?
जी प्रधानमंत्री जी, मैं बिल्कुल सहमत हूँ। मैं कहीं ना कहीं ये मानता हूँ कि भारत ऑलरेडी दौड़ रहा है, और ये मिशन तो केवल एक पहली सीढ़ी है उस एक बड़ी दौड़ का। और हम जरूर आगे पहुंच रहे हैं, और अंतरिक्ष में हमारे खुद के स्टेशन भी होंगे और बहुत सारे लोग पहुंचेंगे। और माइंडफुलनेस का भी बहुत फर्क पड़ता है। बहुत सारी सिचुएशंस ऐसी होती हैं नॉर्मल ट्रेनिंग के दौरान भी या फिर लॉन्च के दौरान भी, जो बहुत स्ट्रेसफुल होती हैं, और माइंडफुलनेस से आप अपने आप को उन सिचुएशंस में शांत रख पाते हैं, और अपने आप को काम रखते हैं, अपने आप को शांत रखते हैं, तो आप अच्छे डिसीजन ले पाते हैं। कहते हैं कि दौड़ते हुए भोजन कोई भी नहीं कर सकता, तो जितना आप शांत रहेंगे उतना ही अच्छे से आप डिसीजन ले पाएंगे। तो आई थिंक माइंडफुलनेस का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल होता है इन चीज़ों में। तो दोनों चीज़ें अगर साथ में एक प्रैक्टिस की जाएं तो ऐसे एक चैलेंजिंग एनवायरनमेंट में या चैलेंजिंग वातावरण में मुझे लगता है ये बहुत ही यूजफुल होंगी, और बहुत जल्दी लोगों को अडेप्ट करने में मदद करेंगी।
आप अंतरिक्ष में कई एक्सपेरिमेंट कर रहे हैं। क्या कोई ऐसा एक्सपेरिमेंट है जो आने वाले समय में एग्रीकल्चर या हेल्थ सेक्टर को फायदा पहुंचाएगा?
जी प्रधानमंत्री जी, मैं बहुत गर्व से कह सकता हूं कि पहली बार भारतीय वैज्ञानिकों ने 7 यूनिक एक्सपेरिमेंट्स डिज़ाइन किए, जो कि मैं अपने साथ स्टेशन पे लेके आया हूं। और पहला एक्सपेरिमेंट जो मैं करने वाला हूं, जो कि आज ही के दिन में शेड्यूल्ड है, वो है स्टेम सेल्स के ऊपर। अंतरिक्ष में आने से क्या होता है कि ग्रेविटी चूंकि एब्सेंट होती है तो लोड खत्म हो जाता है, तो मसल लॉस होता है। तो जो मेरा एक्सपेरिमेंट है वो ये देख रहा है कि क्या कोई सप्लीमेंट दे के हम इस मसल लॉस को रोक सकते हैं या फिर डिले कर सकते हैं। इसका डायरेक्ट इम्प्लीकेशन धरती पे भी है कि जिन लोगों का मसल लॉस होता है ओल्ड एज की वजह से, तो उनके ऊपर ये सप्लीमेंट्स यूज़ किए जा सकते हैं। तो मुझे लगता है कि ये डेफिनेटली वहाँ यूज़ हो सकता है। साथ ही साथ जो दूसरा एक्सपेरिमेंट है वो माइक्रो एल्गी की ग्रोथ के ऊपर। ये माइक्रो एल्गी बहुत छोटे होते हैं लेकिन बहुत न्यूट्रिशियस होते हैं। तो अगर हम इनकी ग्रोथ देख सकते हैं यहाँ पे, और ऐसा प्रोसेस इजाद करें कि ये ज़्यादा तादाद में हम इन्हें उगा सकें और न्यूट्रिशन हम प्रोवाइड कर सकें, तो कहीं ना कहीं ये फूड सिक्योरिटी के लिए भी बहुत काम आएगा धरती के ऊपर। सबसे बड़ा एडवांटेज जो है स्पेस का वो ये है कि ये जो प्रोसेस है यहाँ पे बहुत जल्दी होते हैं, तो हमें महीनों तक या सालों तक वेट करने की जरूरत नहीं होती। तो इसलिए यहाँ के जो रिजल्ट
चंद्रयान की सफलता के बाद देश के बच्चों में, युवाओं में विज्ञान को लेकर एक नई रुचि पैदा हुई। अंतरिक्ष को एक्सप्लोर करने का जज्बा बढ़ा। अब आपकी ये ऐतिहासिक यात्रा उस संकल्प को और मजबूती दे रही है। आज बच्चे सिर्फ आसमान नहीं देखते, वे यह सोचते हैं मैं भी वहां पहुंच सकता हूं। यही सोच, यही भावना हमारे भविष्य के स्पेस मिशंस की असली बुनियाद है। आप भारत की युवा पीढ़ी को क्या मैसेज देंगे?
प्रधानमंत्री जी, अगर मैं अपने युवाओं पीढ़ी को आज कोई मैसेज देना चाहूँगा तो पहले ये बताऊँगा कि भारत जिस दिशा में जा रहा है, हमने बहुत बोल्ड और बहुत ऊंचे सपने देखे हैं और उन सपनों को पूरा करने के लिए हमें आप सबकी ज़रूरत है। तो उस ज़रूरत को पूरा करने के लिए मैं ये कहूँगा कि सक्सेस का कोई एक रास्ता नहीं होता कि आप कभी कोई एक रास्ता लेता है, कोई दूसरा रास्ता लेता है, लेकिन एक चीज़ जो हर रास्ते में कॉमन होती है वो ये होती है कि आप कभी कोशिश मत छोड़िए, नेवर स्टॉप ट्राइंग। अगर आपने ये मूल मंत्र अपना लिया कि आप किसी भी रास्ते पे हो, कहीं पे भी हो, लेकिन आप कभी गिव अप नहीं करेंगे, तो सक्सेस चाहे आज आए या कल आए, पर आएगी जरूर।
मुझे पक्का विश्वास है कि आपकी ये बातें देश के युवाओं को बहुत ही अच्छी लगेगी। और आप तो मुझे भली भांति जानते हैं, जब भी किसी से बात होती है तो मैं होमवर्क जरूर देता हूं। हमें मिशन गगनयान को आगे बढ़ाना है, हमें अपना खुद का स्पेस स्टेशन बनाना है और चंद्रमा पर भारतीय एस्ट्रोनॉट की लैंडिंग भी करानी है। इन सारे मिशंस में आपके अनुभव बहुत काम आने वाले हैं। मुझे विश्वास है आप वहां अपने अनुभवों को जरूर रिकॉर्ड कर रहे होंगे।
जी प्रधानमंत्री जी, बिल्कुल। ये पूरा मिशन की ट्रेनिंग लेने के दौरान और एक्सपीरियंस करने के दौरान जो मुझे लेसन्स मिले हैं, जो मुझे सीख मिली है, वो सब एक स्पॉन्ज की तरह मैं एब्जॉर्ब कर रहा हूँ और मुझे यकीन है कि ये सारी चीज़ें बहुत वैल्यूएबल प्रूव होंगी, बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट होंगी हमारे लिए जब मैं वापस आऊँगा और हम इन्हें इफेक्टिवली अपने मिशंस में इनके लेसन्स अप्लाई कर सकेंगे और जल्दी से जल्दी उन्हें पूरा कर सकेंगे। बिकॉज मेरे साथी जो मेरे साथ आए थे, कहीं ना कहीं उन्होंने भी मुझसे पूछा कि हम कब गगनयान पे जा सकते हैं, जो सुन के मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा और मैंने बोला कि जल्दी ही। तो मुझे लगता है कि ये सपना बहुत जल्दी पूरा होगा और मेरी जो सीख मुझे यहाँ मिल रही है वो मैं वापस आके उसको अपने मिशन में पूरी तरह से 100% अप्लाई करके और उनको जल्दी से जल्दी पूरा करने की कोशिश करेंगे।
शुभांशु, मुझे पक्का विश्वास है कि आपका ये संदेश एक प्रेरणा देगा। और जब हम आपके जाने से पहले मिले थे, आपका परिवारजन के भी दर्शन करने का अवसर मिला था और मैं देख रहा हूं कि आपके परिवारजन भी सभी उतने ही भावुक है, उत्साह से भरे हुए हैं। शुभांशु, आज मुझे आपसे बात करके बहुत आनंद आया। मैं जानता हूं आपकी जिम में बहुत काम है और 28,000 किलोमीटर की स्पीड से काम कर रहे हैं आपको, तो मैं ज़्यादा समय आपका नहीं लूँगा। आज मैं विश्वास से कह सकता हूं कि ये भारत के गगनयान मिशन की सफलता का पहला अध्याय है। आपकी यह ऐतिहासिक यात्रा सिर्फ अंतरिक्ष तक सीमित नहीं है, यह हमारी विकसित भारत की यात्रा को तेज गति और नई मजबूती देगी। भारत दुनिया के लिए स्पेस की नई संभावनाओं के द्वार खोलने जा रहा है। अब भारत सिर्फ उड़ान नहीं भरेगा, भविष्य में नई उड़ानों के लिए मंच तैयार करेगा। मैं चाहता हूं, कुछ और भी सुनने की इच्छा है आपके मन में, क्योंकि मैं सवाल नहीं पूछना चाहता, आपके मन में जो भाव है अगर वो आप प्रकट करेंगे, देशवासी सुनेंगे, देश की युवा पीढ़ी सुनेगी। तो मैं भी खुद बहुत आतुर हूं कुछ और बातें आपसे सुनने के लिए।
धन्यवाद प्रधानमंत्री जी। यहाँ ये पूरी जर्नी जो है, ये अंतरिक्ष तक आने की और यहाँ ट्रेनिंग की और यहाँ तक पहुँचने की, इसमें बहुत कुछ सीखा है प्रधानमंत्री जी मैंने। लेकिन यहाँ पहुँचने के बाद मुझे पर्सनल एकम्प्लिशमेंट तो एक है ही, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं मुझे ये लगता है कि ये हमारे देश के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा कलेक्टिव अचीवमेंट है। और मैं हर एक बच्चे को जो ये देख रहा है, हर एक युवा को जो ये देख रहा है, एक मैसेज देना चाहता हूं, और वो ये है कि अगर आप कोशिश करते हैं और आप अपना भविष्य बनाते हैं अच्छे से, तो आपका भविष्य अच्छा बनेगा और हमारे देश का भविष्य अच्छा बनेगा। और केवल एक बात अपने मन में रखिए, दैट स्काई इज नेवर द लिमिट, ना आपके लिए, ना मेरे लिए और ना भारत के लिए। और ये बात हमेशा अगर आपने मन में रखी तो आप आगे बढ़ेंगे, आप अपना भविष्य उजागर करेंगे और आप हमारे देश का भविष्य उजागर करेंगे। और बस मेरा यही मैसेज है प्रधानमंत्री जी, और मैं बहुत ही भावुक और बहुत ही खुश हूं कि मुझे मौका मिला आज आपसे बात करने का और आपके थ्रू 140 करोड़ देशवासियों से बात करने का। जो ये देख पा रहे हैं, ये जो तिरंगा आप मेरे पीछे देख रहे हैं, ये यहाँ नहीं था। आज कल के पहले जब मैं यहाँ पे आया हूँ तब हमने ये यहाँ पे पहली बार लगाया है। तो ये बहुत भावुक करता है मुझे और बहुत अच्छा लगता है देख के कि भारत आज इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन पहुंच चुका है।
शुभांशु, मैं आपको और आपके सभी साथियों को आपके मिशन की सफलता के लिए बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। शुभांशु, हम सबको आपकी वापसी का इंतजार है। अपना ध्यान रखिए, मां भारती का सम्मान बढ़ाते रहिए। अनेक अनेक शुभकामनाएं, 140 करोड़ देशवासियों की शुभकामनाएं, और आपको इस कठोर परिश्रम करके इस ऊंचाई तक पहुंचने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूं। भारत माता की जय।
धन्यवाद प्रधानमंत्री जी, धन्यवाद। और सारे 140 करोड़ देशवासियों को धन्यवाद। और स्पेस से सबके लिए भारत माता की जय।
All right, and what a beautiful moment we have just witnessed. Not just India witnessed this moment, but the entire world witnessed this moment. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacting with Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla. He asked several questions. He first, in the interaction, he said that I won't take much time. He asked several questions. He said, while the conversation initiated, he asked that although we both are miles apart, but the closeness which we have is certainly cannot be defined in words. And there is Shubh in your name already. He asked about Shubhanshu Shukla's health. He asked about the situation there. Shubhanshu Shukla said that he's traveling with a speed of 28,000 kilometers per hour, which is not just the speed with which Shubhanshu Shukla is traveling, it is the speed with which India is traveling. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also asked Shubhanshu Shukla to give a message to the youth of the country. And Shubhanshu Shukla in reply said that never stop trying. This is the message which Shubhanshu Shukla gave to the youth, and it applies to everyone. In every situation, in any situation, no matter, but never stop trying. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also congratulated Shubhanshu Shukla for the mission, wherein Shubhanshu Shukla will be performing several experiments. And it will also benefit the agriculture sector as well. Shubhanshu Shukla said that in one of his experiments of stem cells, it will benefit certainly the agriculture sector, and also one of the experiments is the microalgae growth, which will enhance the food security. So there are a number of experiments which Shubhanshu Shukla will do in space. He is the first Indian aboard the International Space Station and the second Indian to travel to space, after Rakesh Sharma and after 41 years. So carrying the tricolour on his shoulder, he made the entire country proud, he made the entire world proud, and we are proud of Shubhanshu Shukla. We are waiting for his return. Now, time now for sport in DT India. And Indian women's cricket team is set to face England in the first T20I of 5-match series on Saturday, and India will be keen to internalize the conditions and character of venues in England ahead of next year's World Cup. The ICC showpiece is almost a year away, but this series is a perfect stepping stone after India's disappointing group stage exit in the last edition. Apart from the return of explosive opener Shafali Verma, India has added some new names such as Kranti Gaur, Sri Chirani and Sayali Sadghare to its squad. Australia secured a massive 159-run win over West Indies in the first Test match on Saturday. Australia's superb batting had put them in a strong position from the start. Beau Webster and Travis Head forged the match's first century partnership. Alex Carey also scored a well-compiled half-century. West Indies was dismissed for 141, chasing a formidable target of 301. Nathan Lyon swept the tail, while Josh Hazelwood's 5 wickets masterclass broke the hosts' resistance on a pitch that turned into a bowler's paradise. With this win, Australia has taken a 1-0 lead in the 3-match series. Prabhat Jayasuriya's 5-wicket haul propelled Sri Lanka to a comfortable win over Bangladesh in the second Test match on Saturday. Sri Lanka beat Bangladesh by an innings and 78 runs in the second Test and secured a 1-0 series victory in the 2-match series. The fourth day lasted less than 30 minutes as Jayasuriya polished off the tail by taking 3 of the last 4 wickets. Bangladesh was all out for paltry 133 in its second innings, having made 247 in the first. Sri Lanka scored 458 in the first innings, dominated by a brilliant century from opener Pathum Nissanka and backed up by half-centuries from Dinesh Chandimal and Kusal Mendes. Bangladesh's Najmul Hussain Shanto stepped down as the country's Test captain following a crushing defeat to Sri Lanka in Colombo. After taking over as Test captain in 2023, Shanto led Bangladesh in 14 Tests, winning 4 including 2 in Pakistan in memorable series win. Earlier this month, Shanto replaced as ODI captain by Mehdi Hassan Miraz, while Liton Das was appointed captain of T20 side. Shanto stated that having 3 different captains will be difficult to deal with, and his decision to step down will help the team moving forward. That's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.